could torture them until they're crying, you know? Abby.
So this is what we've been waiting for since 2013? Are Neil Druckmann and Naughty Dog this tone deaf? They had one job, and they couldn't even do that. What's going on, YouTube? This is Venomous Media, back with another video. So Naughty Dog was founded in 1984, but it wouldn't be until 1996 where they became big players in gaming.
Okay, created and developed by Naughty Dog.
With Crash Bandicoot, which is how many of us started our journey with Naughty Dog. They've released so many Crash games, both main entries, spin-offs, and even remakes. Then when the PS2 came onto the scene, we got another platformer, Jak and Daxter. Then we got two more sequels that were a bit more mature and edgy in tone, kind of like a T-rated GTA with an open world. Then in 2007, we were introduced to Uncharted, which would be the first of 4 games. And these awesome games gave us Nathan Drake, who's still a Giga Chad to this day and one of the most iconic characters ever in gaming. And a big part of that is because of Drake's actor, Nolan North, and the performances he gave in each entry. And in 2013, we got another game changer in the industry, The Last of Us, which wasn't the typical survival horror or post-apocalyptic or horror game we had seen up to this point. The Last of Us focused on story and depth, almost felt movie-like, and we got 2 iconic characters in Joel Miller and Ellie Williams. The Last of Us gained a huge fan base over the years, with getting praise from gamers and critics for how well the story, gameplay, and characters were. And in 2016, we got Drake's final outing with Uncharted 4, which to me has the best graphics ever, and should have been the standard instead of trying to push graphics to ridiculous lengths. PS5 Pro, I am talking to you. 4 was a great send-off for the Uncharted cast. Drake, Elena, Sully, and Sam all get happy endings. With Drake's journey coming to an end, the gaming world wondered when we would see Joel and Ellie return. And we would eventually get answers, and sadly, The Last of Us 2 wasn't worth the wait. Everything we liked about the first game, having an interesting story and great characters, well, sadly we didn't get that in The Last of Us 2. In fact, The Last of Us 2 gave us the single worst character in any game or piece of fiction. You can even say she's worse than Rey or Captain Marvel. Seriously, you really have to go out of your way to make a character worse than Rey or Captain Marvel. Anyway, Naughty Dog went from giving us a Chad like Joel to replacing him with a freak show like Abby. And it's not like she earned the spot and is a great character in her own right. In fact, she's forced down our throats. And that's actually what I wanted to talk about today. I'm talking about how Abby is the worst character of all time. It's really laughable that Naughty Dog and Druckmann are acting like Abby or that bald chick in their new game is groundbreaking. They're just girl bosses to add to the already growing list of girl bosses. Like those losers in the new Dragon Age, Dustborn, Star Wars Outlaw, Concord, and so many others. And like I said in my GTA video, having a female character isn't groundbreaking at all. They've always been in games. These developers should really stop emphasizing on the character being female and focus on them being great characters and why we should care. And the sad thing is, before we got this abomination known as Abby, Naughty Dog knew how to have female characters in their games, whether they were playable or not. Like in Crash 2, we got Coco, and in 3, she's playable. Yeah, her levels were kind of a pain, but still it was a fun game, and she's a cool character. And the Jak games gave us some great female characters too, like Kira, Ashlyn, and Tess. And the thing is too, they're all different in personality. Kira's the more soft, caring kind. Ashlyn was the more tough. Not a girl boss, but just badass. And Tess is the more carefree, flirty, and laid back of the bunch. And probably my favorite one out of the group. And it's hypocritical too that the SJW say we make the same female characters and have no variety when literally every female character they touch are all fat, butch, masculine in some way, or activists that are man-hating types, and most of them have terrible designs too. And the SJWs will use the same cop-out, oh, these are just normal-looking women, you just want women to be objects for you, or some BS like that. It's just funny that the normal-looking characters are always fat, unattractive, butch, masculine, but they're never attractive. And like I said, the SJWs are the ones that have no variety. Anyway, in Uncharted, in addition to Chads like Drake and Sully, we got great female characters like Elena Fisher and Chloe Frazier. Elena is adventurous, has spunk, but still soft, and has humanity, and we see that throughout the Uncharted games, especially in 4. We see she shows concern for her now husband Drake and his treasure hunting. And of course, Chloe is the anti-hero type. Witty, a bit of a diva, think Elizabeth Hurley in her prime, but still awesome and a fun character. Wish she had a bigger role in 3, but I guess she at least has that spin-off game with Nadine. And I didn't care much for Nadine in 4, but in the spin-off game, she's a much better character. And her and Chloe are a great team. And of course, The Last of Us gave us Ellie, who you might sign off as a bratty girl at first, but you connect with her once you learn she has the weight of the world on her, given that she's immune to infection and the world's last hope. We also try to see some normality in her, like in the flashbacks in the second game, which is one of the only things that game did right, like in the museum when Ellie is pretending she's an astronaut in space. That's a real touching moment between her and Joel. In the first Last of Us, their relationship is one of the major highlights of the game. I mean, they butt heads at first, but bond. Ellie being like a second daughter to him after losing Sarah in the Outbreak. Naughty Dog had a great track record of giving us great female characters. So what went wrong with Abby? Well, let's see. First, I'll mention how the fact that Naughty Dog and Druckmann tried to psych us out with Joel thinking he was returning, and only to kill him off, and then force that roided up freak down our throats, being a girl boss and doing a cop-out like, oh, he killed Abby's father. She was just in hunting and killing Joel down. Or, why do you defend Joel? He's a murderer and a horrible person. I don't know where these SJWs get these arguments from. First off, if Joel wasn't revealed to have killed Abby's father, I doubt any of you would be dragging his name into the mud like this, calling him a murderer or whatever. And second of all, even if you can argue Joel's a horrible person, that doesn't mean he's a badly written character or a bad character. Are y'all stupid, slow, and desperate? That's like saying a certain space emperor is a terribly written character for slicing up children with a blue laser sword. Same with Doctor Doom, Magneto, Wolverine, or Punisher. This just shows you how desperate these SJWs are to try and justify Abby as a character. Like some of the other gamers that were critical of The Last of Us 2, I didn't mind playing Ellie's portion of the game, but the problem is, again, they push Abby down our throats, trying to force us to care about her, and never once did I care for her. She's just this psycho on roid rage. With the exception of Manny, who, spoiler, dies, she's got a very terrible supporting cast. Mel's a pain in the ass from start to finish, and is another girl boss character since she's pregnant, and even gets shot when traveling with Abby and the others. And before Ellie kills her later on, she's trying to be evil Knievel. I guess Druckmann thinks pregnant women don't need protection and should be in danger willingly. Then again, there are real-life psychos who hate and want to harm babies with signed permission from politicians, even in non-threatening or situations that would require it. Can we also stop trying to make pregnant women Wonder Woman? They did that with Spider-Woman in the comics and Spider-Verse movie. That's not cute or badass. That's psychotic. Anyway, there's also Owen, who has as much charisma as a love interest on the CW. He's got terrible taste in women. For some reason, he likes dominant girl boss characters on roids, or ones that look like skinny men. Does he actually play for the other team, or does he not know what an actual woman looks like? Their love scene is one of the grossest and most disgusting things I've ever seen in my life, and that was done by design. Did Druckmann and Naughty Dog think gamers wanted to see that? And this was the part where I was going to make a WWF joke involving Sean Waltman, aka X-Pac, saying he's probably one of the only men on the planet that was into women like that, since he was with China back then. But I remembered he got with her when she was starting to tone down. Anyway, I'm not convinced Owen likes women. If they wanted to show a love scene like that, it could have been like Shepard and Ashley or Miranda in Mass Effect.
But you'll learn.
Or even Saints Row 4 with the player in Kenzie. Anyway, when Owen and Mel both meet their end, I shedded no tears. In fact, I celebrated Ellie taking both of them out. Mel probably harmed her child anyway by being a girl boss. There probably was no saving her anyway, and again, Manny's probably the only one I might have saved, but oh well. And add insult to injury, they try and make Abby the new Joel by trying to give her a dynamic with that kid Lev, and it's cringe. Nowhere near as great as Joel and Ellie's bond. Lev is honestly a pain in the ass too. The sister was way more tolerable. So yeah, that's the pattern with The Last of Us 2. They let the potentially good characters all die, while letting the worst ones live. But at least most of them are 6 feet under, except the Beast herself. And look, we never get that genuine sense of investment or humanity from Abby, like we have in Ellie and other previous Naughty Dog female characters. Yes, we get it, she lost her father, but so what? That doesn't make me care for her because it feels like a cop-out and a plot device trying to force us to care. Joel killing her father doesn't make me care for her, make her an interesting character. So if you wanted the death of Abby's father to mean something, then Abby should have been a better written character. Make us invested in her instead of trying to kill Joel, then force us into liking her. And before anyone says anything, yes, I did hate that Abby killed Joel, but I have no issue with Joel dying, or even Abby being the one that killed him. Now I'm going to talk about the first 2 Mafia games for a second. 2 of my favorites of all time, and I'm looking forward to The Old Country. Anyway, those 2 have 3 of my favorite characters of all time. Tommy Angelo, Vito Scarlata, and Joe Barbo. Tommy was a Giga Chad with a great and complex journey, and sadly he doesn't completely make it to the second game because of choices he made, and his killers were the main characters of Mafia 2, Vito and Joe.
Mr. Angelo,
Yes?
Mr. Salieri sends his regards.
And you know what? I was okay with that because, well, Vito and Joe were great characters, and Mafia 2 was an amazing follow-up. Abby, on the other hand, was a terrible character, unworthy to be the next protagonist. And The Last of Us 2 was a terrible sequel, which, again, Naughty Dog and Druckmann try to guilt us into liking Abby. Now, this one is going to upset some people, but yes, Abby has a terrible design. She doesn't even look human. She looks like some kind of caricature of what a woman should be. And of course, I've heard the arguments before, oh, you've never seen athletic women. Like I mentioned before, I watch pro wrestling and MMA. I know Trish Stratus, Tori Wilson, and Gina Carano are athletic and still very feminine women. Heck, Abby looks worse than Chyna or Rhea Ripley. Somehow makes them look like beauty queens. And I've seen AI pics of Abby on Google that gave her a makeover. And I mean, why not? We see these SJW do this all the time with Lara Croft and Joanna Dark. Some of the AI stuff makes Abby look normal, humane, and even cute in some pics. And you know what else is a bigger tragedy with Abby? She's voiced by one of the best voice actresses around, Laura Bailey, who I've been rocking with since her Funimation days, where she played Kid Trunks, Lust, and so many other anime roles before branching out to games and cartoons in California. So it's such a shame Laura's talent is wasted on such a terrible character like Abby. And one thing I'm sort of enjoying is that the live-action version of Abby won't be some roided-up wildebeest. Druckmann at least had some sense to know nobody would watch a game-accurate Abby on the show, going on a roid rage and killing Joel. In fact, I actually like this new version of Abby more than the game version. And I'm enjoying how the SGWs will have a meltdown. Heck, even Dina on the show looks cuter than she did in the game. I mean, where she was just a very bland character who's just there to show us that she has hairy armpits. So I'll take that victory. And the only moment I actually like in the game is seeing Abby in the final act, where her muscles can't get her out of trouble. She's attacked, starved, and probably tortured, close to getting a taste of her own medicine. I got a kick out of seeing how skinny she was, which was proof she's pathetic and nothing without the muscles. And aside from seeing Owen and Mel taken out, that was a great scene too. It would have been better if Abby got the Salem Witch Trials treatment, if you know what I mean. And of course Druckmann had to give Abby an exit, and apparently he considered killing her off at one point. But of course he didn't. I mean, why would he? Thinking she would be too much of a fan favorite to kill. Well, gee, you didn't think Joel would be too much of a fan favorite to kill off? Gee, I thought you were almost smart for a second there, Neil. So yeah, the girl boss lives to fight another day, and I doubt she'll meet the same fate as Joel if a third game is made and we play with her during the first hour, and wham, she gets beaten with a club. Anyway, after The Last of Us 2, we got that bald girl who looks like a grown-up version of Lev in the next Naughty Dog game, which is like some kind of sci-fi survival horror thing, I think. Who are they going to try and say is groundbreaking? Well, good luck with that. So yeah, Abby is not a game-changing character, or groundbreaking in any way. She's just a crappy designed caricature of a woman. She's not Jill Valentine, Joanna Dark, Lara Croft, Regina, or just any of the other iconic female characters who predate her and are remembered as great characters, not girl bosses like Abby. Anyway, I think I've covered enough about this topic. Let me know down below what you think of Abby, what you dislike about her, or if by some chance you like her. And if you like The Last of Us or any other Naughty Dog games from the past, let me know down below. Also, let me know if there's a gaming topic you want me to cover here. So make sure you comment, like, and subscribe. This is Venomous Media signing off.